Welcome back to the cosasverdes crypto and altcoin trading show. This is going to be over MULTIVAC, Verasity, and TRIAS. And I'm going to start with TRIAS today because that chart's looking really sexy. Returning viewers, before we jump into this, go ahead and hit like for me and leave me a very quick comment, even if it's LOL you suck, emoji thumbs up, whatever you got to do. It's going to help the algo for me so I can continue producing videos for you. And new viewers, here's what my channel does. You're out there mostly watching YouTube crypto videos that have to do with project fundamentals and or news. What my channel does is it completes the trifecta of information you need to be having in your brain so you can have a better statistical understanding of what you're doing when you're clicking around with your money, and most other channels, particular altcoins, are not doing that. So I also have a library of videos that are free information so you can get to know the jargon that is used on this channel and other price action channels. So go ahead and check out that playlist called Library, and let's get into it. Let me make my ugly face small and get into TRIAS. So hopefully that signs off. Here we go. Take a look at this chart. This chart is looking pretty good. What I'm seeing here overall is TRIAS got really hot. A little too hot, corrected, and has been putting in its jail time beautifully. All right, so put on, this is the weekly chart. Here's what's so impressive with TRIAS right now. Just like most altcoins, after they overcorrect, to the downside, they overpump to the upside, particular to this red and yellow line here, which are the weekly 21 and 10 EMAs. So it came back up without respecting these two lines, these EMAs, the red and yellow, and it needed to come down to respect it. So it flew past, came down, tested the 10 once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, went past it, came back down this time 7 times. That is 7 candles. This is honestly pretty ready to blast up. You really don't need to look at many other time frames on this asset. Maybe the daily and the weekly. This is all that you need to know. 7 beautiful weeks of respecting both the 10 and 21 EMAs on the weekly. This is going to set it up to go much higher than this all-time high of about 32 bucks. Because it never formed this base back here. It just went. So whenever this rally gets going with TRIAS, it's going to go pretty high. It could easily double this. It could easily double this. Easily, with all this respect right here. This is a heck of a base. And if you see this totality of this base forming from maybe 1 week here plus all this, I mean, I don't know. This is honestly, this chart is starting to look really good. Did the chart look good up until this point and to the left? No. This is pretty choppy, and you know, it's just overcorrective, got over hot, all this kind of stuff. But since then, putting in this jail time is this is almost as good as it gets, folks. It looks really good for an asset that got pretty hot, overcorrected, and it looks like it's ready to go. So remember these 2 lines. These are really the 2 lines, you know, in the sand for TRIAS. You have 2 of them. If you get a weekly closure above 959, you're very likely going to take off. Or intra week, if you have a daily, so let's go to the daily chart. Even before a weekly close above that, if you have a daily closure above $10.33, that could also stimulate a bigger move up within the week before that week even closes, before at $9.59. So you might want to draw. So if you're a TRIAS fan, you might want to draw those 2 lines on there and put weekly for the bottom one, daily for the top one, and that's what you're looking for. But it looks like it's going to happen pretty soon, assuming Bitcoin stays strong. So I have absolutely no complaints about what I'm seeing on TRIAS. It actually looks fantastic. All right, let's move on to MTV, which I haven't stared at for a while. Actually, let's look at TRIAS versus Bitcoin real fast. Sorry. Yep, TRIAS versus Bitcoin has the same type of structure. So it's all good in the hood. And the lines that it needs to pass, it's pretty similar stuff as well. So the TRIAS versus Bitcoin, I mean, really TRIAS has been moving pretty nicely versus Bitcoin as well. The charts are almost identical, which is not overly common, but it means it's staying tit for tat with Bitcoin, which is nothing but good. All right, so let's go to MTV. All right, so I'm going to go to the weekly chart on MTV, put on some EMAs, and I'm going to take off all but the weekly 10 and 21. Delete this line here. I guess I don't need it. All right, so what you can see happening here is MTV came up without really respecting its 10 a whole lot here, okay? So you had respect under the 21, but this was all kind of a downside move. So you had a little bit of respect here. 1, 2, 3 weeks. I guess that's 4 weeks. I guess you can count that, which gave it enough lift. However, once it passed, it just flew past without a ton of, like, this isn't super confident respect, and it's all from the bottom. And I don't count a downside move like this as respecting. I like to see respect from the bottom coming up slowly like this. So this really is the wrong shape to count as respect, right? So what it's doing now is, after it flew past the red and yellow line, which is the daily 10 and 21, or the weekly 21 and 10 EMA, 10 being the red, 21 being the yellow. All right, now what it's doing, it's coming back down to respect that 10. So it can get itself some more price action above. And all this is happening way above previous all-time high closures. So it's consolidating much above. Let's actually kind of measure here. From closure, highest weekly closure to middle of this range, it's consolidating 80% above that. So this is really establishing itself as saying, hey, I got a lot more to go. So this chart actually looks really good as well. It's much more bullish than most charts we're looking at here, and it's just putting in its time. And I could expect maybe, let's see here, 1, 2, it only needs 1 more week. So this week has 5 more days. I would say that MULTIVAC starts moving up the middle of October. And I would say the week of the 18th, you might get a closure above this area, and then it might start taking off either the week of the October 18th or the week of the 25th. Something to that effect. That's what I could see happening. So I'm going to leave that here like this. And I will make this line, right? Let's actually try to zoom in here. Make this legit. So once you get a weekly closure above 2.18 cents, you should start flying on MULTIVAC. Again, its move should continue up at that point. And I'm simply guessing the time or the week in which that will happen, right? Because its timing is going to definitely depend on Bitcoin, which is why I cover Bitcoin as well in my analyses, and you need to follow those. Even if you're an altcoin fan, you need to pay attention to my Bitcoin analysis as well if you follow this channel. And I try to keep them pretty short here, but so MULTIVAC's looking pretty good. Let's look on the short-term time frames. Kind of want to check out the 8-hour chart here, see what's happening. 1, 2. So you only had 2 strikes of bearish divergence on the 8-hour chart, where let's try this again. We're a lower high in RSI. So let me stretch this out just a little bit. So see where I have this circle down here in the RSI? This made the highest high in price, but it's not the highest high in RSI, which means it's just a strike of a bearish divergence. So 1 strike here for this high related to this, and this higher high is a lower high on RSI. However, it looks like it's already played out, because you've been able to, RSI's been able to come down and reset in the red zone, and I think that's all done and played out. So the downside move for MTV, I think it's good to go. I think it's just going to put in some sideways time, and then these are going to be my guesses. Depending on Bitcoin staying strong, these are the times where I could see on the weekly chart that it starts flying up here. And looking on the daily chart, you're operating on higher lows of RSI, and as MTV puts in some more time sideways, it doesn't really need to go down, but the RSI will trickle down here, hit this trend line, and likely start moving its way up, slowly here, and breaking out roughly at the times that I've shown here, again, depending on Bitcoin. So this asset is looking like it's trying to prime itself for another nice push up. All right, so let's go to Verasity. So I was thinking a while back that VRA would break above this triangle sometime around mid-October, and it looks like it's trying to get itself some here. So it's the beginning of October, still got a little ways left. Let's see how much I agree with this assessment from like weeks before here. So let's go to the weekly chart. Ooh. All right, how many weeks of respect did we give the weekly 10 here? We got 1 week. Let's count that one, 2, 3, 4. So this one could be ready to go. And all it needs to do, similar to the other assets, is get a closure above, a weekly closure above this line here, and it should be able to break out here. And so this line right here, as long as you get a weekly close above 4.62 cents, that would give the umph needed, with the idea that it's already respected the 10 and the 21, came down and checked the 21 twice essentially. So Verasity looks like it has done what it needs to do in order to break all-time highs and keep moving up. Let's take a look at the date. Let's look at the 2-day chart. Oh yeah, actually, yeah, this looks really good. So look at this. You have a skim play on the 2-day 10 and 21 EMAs. That often can produce some pretty nice moves. When you see the 10 come down like this and skim right above the 21, you can get some pretty powerful continuation off of that. Similar to this. Look, came above, came back down to skim, and got a powerful move. And that could be exactly what happens here. Came below, came back above, skim, ready to go. This is looking, this honestly could get a pretty powerful move. It's looking ready. Let's zoom out a little bit here. Make sure I'm not missing anything structurally. Let's see what a 2-week chart gives us. Let me skip to the monthly, because the monthly is what I missed on MULTIVAC when I saw a big move. Okay, so if this month, which ends in 26 days, right? So if this month can close where it is now, the next month's going to be huge. All it needs to do is close the month above that line, then you're probably going to blast off. So yeah, and honestly, it doesn't have to it doesn't have to close super close to this line. It can close up here, and it really gets some strong continuation. So Verasity is looking fantastic. I might jump back real quick to Trias to see what that looks like on the monthly here, because I've already done MTV on the monthly a little ways back. So let's check Trias real quick. Oh, same thing. Yep, but first it's going to get that weekly closure. So wow, yeah, Trias actually could be really ready here. So Trias's monthly line is really close to that weekly line. So as long as it closes a weekly, it doesn't really need to close a month. The week will default this, and it'll keep going. All you need is a weekly closure above 959. So you don't even have to wait on the monthly on this one. But the monthly would, if it just hangs out all October right here and only closes about at this first line at 959, you know, I would say, hey, that's perfectly fine by me waiting all of October to see this blast, because November should be pretty big as well. So that's what we got for these 3 assets. If you liked what you saw and you're new, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit the bell so you can stay in the know in regards to having a better confidence with your mouse as you click around with your money. And returning viewers who aren't new, if you haven't had a second to hit like and leave me a quick comment, please do down below. And thanks for letting me get through the sickness. I was in the hospital, and I'm glad to be making videos for you here, even though I'm a little short on breath. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Y'all just got timified. We'll see you next time.